Olá amigos, aqui é aquele cara, continuando nossa série Let's Play do Baldurs Gate 3 aqui no PlayStation 5, continuando nossa saga pra... Enfim, foi uma longa jornada e bem extenuante no vídeo anterior, tem um link aqui na descrição se você quiser ver como é que foram aí as partes anteriores da série, que a gente basicamente se meteu aí numa complicação e tá falando mais nela aqui, assim, a gente realmente precisa conseguir vencer essa luta pra seguir, foi onde a gente acabou se colocando nessa situação porque teve um patch que foi lançado e ele corrompeu saves antigos e com isso não tinha opção de voltar e refazer escolhas ou, enfim, tomar decisões diferentes do que a gente tomou para chegar aqui. Então a única coisa que a gente pode fazer é... Bom, vou tentar jogar esse fogo ali e ver se pega eles, né? Pegou. Bom que eu tirei eles do conforto ali. Mas, moral da história, aos poucos a gente aprendeu a usar mais habilidades nas lutas, voltar e upar aí quando for possível. Vamos ver se a gente consegue tirar esse lobinho do caminho. Boa, escaparam do medo. Não tá escapando. Ah, não tá. O Gale acabou ficando amedrontado, sim. Enfim, que seja, né? 49% ali, 72%, né? Tá. Consegue empurrar? Não, é pesado demais. Deixa ele ali então. Bom, pelo menos ali no foguinho já... Aquele atirador deles que é bem chato tomou um dano. Pode tentar ali motivar quem quiser. Opa, boa. Menos um inimigo. Pôs o braço pra arremesso ali, tá bom. E isolou a outra ainda, hein? Aí sim, aí gostei. Não toca nada ali não. Só de bebê ali já tava bom. Cara, não passa o terror ali. Ah, pode ser 4-7, né? Será que ele não... Ah, claro que ia ficar faltando 1. Imagina se não, né? Enfim. Recupera ela. Olha, daninho até que um ataque decente, tudo considerado. Aplicou um sangramento, que é bom também. Olha, 23 de dano. Boa, boa. Bom. Deixa ele, pode deixar esse turno pra lá. 49, seria. Um pouquinho de sorte, joga a moeda pro alto. Foi, menos um. Muito bom, muito bom. É, tipo, só falta essa aqui, né? Não tá fazendo nada ali, não. Um bom ataquezinho.
Victory awaits.
Não erra os 70% de novo, né? Que é muito mala também, ter 75% de chance e errar toda hora, né? Apesar que eu fui pra longe e não... Vamos tentando que uma hora vai aqui, né?
My injuries need tending.
Cara, nunca vi tanto e tanto erro seguido ali.
No choice but to keep going.
Swift and lethal.
Essa mão mágica ali. Ah, fazer uma hora tem que ir. Foi, boa. Com ataque crítico, hein? Finalmente, caramba. Vamos ver se tem itens bons aqui.
I think we taught that Inquisitor a very valuable lesson. Won't be ambushing anyone else in a hurry, or doing anything else, for that matter.
Bom, a gente tem
That
artefato
is
mágico pra ele.
most gratifying to hear. May I?
Ah, toma aí. A gente tá equipando ele, mas toma aí, vai.
Thank you. It is a strange experience. Each time anew. Like a lost soul is spelunking through the darkness that is me, only to be sacrificed on the dread altar of the heart. Somehow the second artifact hasn't had the effect of the first. It's somewhat relieved the discomfort, but I fear my hunger hasn't quite...
Ah, o que tá acontecendo? A gente quer melhorar, né?
The magic isn't having the effect it should have. It's not like the last time, like a rainstorm that quells a forest fire. It merely drizzles. The embers still sizzle, the fire remains undefeated. I'm not certain what's going on, but nothing good. Please, I need to think. I need to retrace my steps to a glade of calm and think. Thank you for the artifact. A great deal of trouble it was too. A great deal of trouble indeed.
Ah, só gostaria que tá sendo útil aí pro grupo. Deixa eu salvar, porque foi... Cada luta é um parto, né? Essa aqui não foi diferente. Vamos primeiro saquear aqui as coisas. Tá, tipo, sobrepeso e tal, mas isso a gente arruma já já. É o outro ali caído. Tá, mais sobrepeso ainda. Tá, não deixa fazer o repouso ali. Certo, vamos pensar no que dá pra fazer. Vamos, isso aí vai descansar um tempo ali, né? Como se estivesse fazendo o... Ah, isso aí, ó. Boa. Aí... Confundindo o botão, mas tá. A baita tem uma espadona ali, ó, de 3 a 16 de dano. Vamos... Não serve pra... Lae'Zel, de repente? Manda... Ali também, porque é tudo pesado. Você não quer um anelzinho lá também? E algumas outras coisas a gente... Talvez possa soltar aqui também, tipo... Larga algumas ali, né? Tá. Melhorou um pouquinho? Melhorou. Dá outra salvada e vamos ver. Aqui no mapa tinha a rota pra esse lado, né? Aparentemente a gente nunca foi. Não, vai ser um beco sem saída, né? Tinha poção. A moral da história é que quando tiver avisos de que você é muito fraco pra um lugar, é uma boa ideia seguir a dica, né? Vai ter uma passagem aqui que tá marcado aqui. Nada saqueável. De pedra tem runas e chunk esculpidas. Sobre elas, o desenho da tradução para o idioma comum. Desenho caberia você se lembrar que, se você ou qualquer outro membro do Criador o Irax zombar das novas regras, será considerado um ato de traição. Não pense que estou cego por seu desdém. Eu sou os olhos de nossa rainha e vejo tudo. A Inquisição vai continuar conforme planejado até o fim e até a arma ser encontrada, como decretado pela rainha para mim, Inquiridor Wargas. Tá bom. O Argas saiu da vida aí pra entrar na história. Um ponto de viagem rápido aqui. O que significa que a gente pode ir embora agora? Finalmente? Isso. Agora a gente pode partir pra qualquer canto. Nossa. Volta lá pra... Isso, pode mudar de região. A gente só precisa muito acampar, botar as coisas em ordem, ó. Como é? Inclusive foi parar exatamente no acampamento. Tá com luzinha ali e tudo, ó.
I am Vlaakith's most loyal servant. She will not abandon me.
Ah, quantos ovos uma ninhada costuma ter? E foi esclarecedora a visita, né?
My own Savage would never have threatened a youngling. A waste of time and energy. The pupils themselves culled the weak from their ranks. I myself felled 4 of my own classmates once Kalir had 100 times circled Tyrell. Survival. My people have no use for cowards. Every trainee that I slayed was either too weak to withstand the lessons, or was cocky enough to pick a fight they could never win. They underestimated me, so they paid the price. The Githyanki are only as powerful as their weakest warrior. Jaquith de Venzir, the termination of the frail, strengthens us. Kalir's clutch held 3 dozen eggs, more or less, though I've learned of creches that harbored 100. Humanoid. How I despise the term. Githyanki are quite superior to humans. Our biology slates state that Githyanki came to lay eggs after we escaped Illithid enslavement and took to the astral plane. It's an asexual process, a favorable change by any estimation. Hideous to imagine a life where I couldn't partake in the pleasures of sex without the looming threat of bearing children. Shukiani. Githyanki chosen by Vlaakith herself to bear young. The Queen assigns when and where they must lay, and how many eggs they must bear. The Shukiani pass their eggs in the material plane. In the astral, time barely passes. It is a meticulous process, carefully timed so that the eggs hatch at once. Go on then.
The disc appears in your mind's eye. Lae'Zel sees it too, and considers the vision.
Tirsu markings. Ancient. I recognize them, but I can't make sense. No. Wait. The texts are enciphered, but there's a common speech translation beneath, carved in a different hand. It's a story about Orpheus.
Your head buzzes in concert with Lae'Zel's, but it hardly matters. Even without the connection, you'd recognize her discomfort.
A traitor. A dead one. This text is heresy. I can hardly bear to read it, let alone speak it. Very well. I will read it to you. The Prince of the Comet, Part 2. The Prince of the Comet, Orpheus himself, led his honor guard into battle. Their red dragons bellowed with righteous anger, and the heavens erupted. The glorious prince cried to all who could hear him, "Praise be to my mother Gith, the queen of the one sky, sacrificed to the hells by the renegade Vlaakith." But the true heir, the Prince of the Comet, could not overcome Vlaakith's knights and their ill-gotten worms. Mighty Voss, Gestil Kithrak, lit the astral sky aflame. When the ash had cleared, beloved Orpheus was gone. True heir, glorious prince. There's no greater crime than to exalt the pretender called Orpheus. Disregard this drivel. Gith declared that Vlaakith should be queen. Orpheus would have ceded control to the Geich. And so it is, a fabrication. A clever one, too, to masquerade as an ancient history. How many such stories could there be? And how many minds have been warped by them? Mark my words. This power would be no blessing, but a curse. You might as well ask me to gouge out my eyes for the promise of sight, or slice off my tongue for the promise of taste. Consume all the gate tadpoles you wish. I'm not so craven.
Será que vale a pena persuadir ela? Tenta aí, né? Ah, nossa, beirou impossível também, vai lá. Ah, não vai chegar tão longe não, ó. Em 7, falta um pouquinho.
And when the tadpole has stretched to every pore and slithered through every vein, what then? It won't hear my screams. It won't care if I beg. I will be remade in its image. My faith in Vlaakith will guide me, and my own might will sustain me. I have no need of this depraved power.
Bom, falou bastante com ela, sumiu a luzinha azul, geral ali. Acho que todos os personagens principais ficam com um pouco de aura desde que estejam no grupo. Deixa eu ver.
I think we've overstayed our welcome in this place. If we ever truly had one to begin with, we should leave. On one hand, they seem useful. But on the other hand, or perhaps tentacle before long, we know where they're coming from, and what lies at the end of that path. I never expected Ceramorphosis to be tempting. I think we should resist these powers. There's simply too many unknowns for us to risk it.
Ah, a pessoa usar mais fácil com ela, será? Ó, tem 2 dados ainda. Ah, vale menor, no entanto. Por causa da desvantagem situacional, talvez.
I see it as more a case of wisely avoiding a potential threat. My mind is set.
Ah, pelo menos nesse assunto meio que tá geral dando toco aí. Umas arminhas guardadas, né? Esse aqui é o que tá com a gente, dá pra guardar mais um pouco de coisa. Guardar de repente esses livros aí. Cartas que não vai usar ali. Ah. Quem mais tá aí pra conversar? Aquele do Astarion e o cachorrinho também, né? Eu me manda o cachorrinho em cada oportunidade. Crescer o vínculo mais importante de todos.
All I wanted was to get a worm out of my head. I didn't sign up for dimensional travel and murderous give. Why do you insist on exhuming the past? I was a slave. A vampire spawn. Kept by the Tsar family. Perhaps I still am. I was never able to resist their commands. But now, I've been conveniently lost. They won't ever control me again. It's simple. Just find a vampire that will drink your blood and turn you into a vampire spawn. Their obedient puppet. In theory, the next step is to drink their blood. Once you've done that, you're free and a true vampire. People think the biggest threat to a vampire is a cleric with a stake. It's not. The biggest threat to a vampire is another vampire. They're scheming, paranoid, power-hungry beasts. So why would any vampire give up control over a spawn to create a competitor? Trust me, it doesn't happen. We can't. And yet I crossed the threshold like moonlight through leaves. This worm is a powerful little beast, isn't it? What's not to enjoy? I can walk in sunlight, trespass upon any home, manipulate minds. I'm the most powerful vampire in the realms. Granted, the looming doom is an issue, but why not enjoy the benefits while we can? I've already apologized. What more do you want? Unless you're looking for another nibble. Maybe. But there won't be any more midnight surprises. I can promise you that. So it would seem. Hopefully he bumps into some gnolls while stumbling around at night, and that's the last we hear from him. I didn't do anything. I was kidnapped, just like you. It seems Cazador wants me back. Cazador Zar is a vampire lord in Baldur's Gate, the patriarch of his coven and a monster obsessed with power. He turned me nearly 200 years ago. I became his spawn, and he became my tormentor. It was him, I'm sure. Only he would know to send the Gur after me. It was a group of Gur that attacked me that night in Baldur's Gate. I would have died had Cazador not appeared and saved me. They may have no idea who they're working for. Cazador likely paid someone to call in a favor, and here we are. He doesn't do simple plans. Not if he has a complex one that pits a dozen enemies against each other. No. This hunter is a message. Cazador's letting me know that even out here, he can get to me. He wants me back. Aha! Safe! You think I'm safe? Do you know the power a vampire lord possesses? He can change shape, turn into mist, call walls to do his bidding, shrug off blows like they're nothing. He could walk into our camp tonight and kill you with his bare hands. And you'd be lucky if death was the worst thing that happened to you. Probably not. He has to rest in his crypt during the day. I've never known him to leave Baldur's Gate, but he has no end of lackeys. He'll send someone else in his place. We just have to be vigilant, keep our wits about us, and kill any monster hunters on sight. I won't lie. It's tempting. If I keep the tadpole, I risk transforming into a grotesque monster. If I lose the tadpole, Cazador has control of me, body and soul, and I return to the shadows. It's grim either way, so why not sell what's left of my soul to a devil? Better he has it than Cazador. I'm glad to hear it. Whatever's coming, we need to keep our options open.
Enriquecedor. Acho que a gente deveria estar falando mais com nossos aliados ao longo do tempo, tipo o Gale, por exemplo, também, né?
How can I help? Your enterprising approach to my problem is most encouraging, but it is a delicate process to keep my condition stable. I do not yet need to consume an item, but keep it close by. It will not be too much longer. Think of it as Tribute. The kind a king might pay to a more powerful neighbor to avoid invasion. As long as I pay, there will be peace. But should I ever stop, along comes a war. I can assure you, the battlefield would extend well beyond the borders of my body alone. We all have our burdens, one way or the other.
Ah tá, o dele é o que menos tinha coisa pra falar também, então podemos descansar, né? Vamos ver ali. Vamos para a caminha. Ou vai ter uma surpresa noturna de novo?
Tillov Lacketh, has our queen sent a knight to slay me with his own blade?
Such informality, child. Does Justil Kithrak not command your respect?
Your blade speaks for you, Kithrak. You've come for blood.
Child of Gith, I've not come to kill you. I've come to aid you.
Don't trust him.
Skakek Kia Gith Shabeleth. My blade rests. Mother Gith compels you to listen.
Speak. My ear is yours.
I know you carry the astral prism, Lae'Zel. Within it lies the seed of Vlaakith's demise, and I intend to help you bring it to fruition.
Vlaakith's demise? Skaketh. I should run you through for suggesting it.
It is not. I've heard word from Kresh Yulik. You are infected. Yet the one in the prism has chosen you. Protects you with their power. The prism's tenant alone has the power to end Vlaakith's tyranny. I've sought their freedom for eons. When the prism went missing, I feared the worst. Instead, you've granted the opportunity I've so long awaited. All that remains is the key that unchains them. And I've found someone who I believe can provide it. Bring the prism to Baldur's Gate. I'll be waiting in a taproom called Shares's Caress. That is where we decide the fate of my people. Lae'Zel, together we will break our chains and be Vlaakith's slaves no longer.
I am no slave, Justil Kithrak. The Undying Queen is my freedom. It is she who will purify me, and she who will ascend me.
Lies, Lae'Zel, every last one. There is no purification, no ascension. The Zaith Isk does not purify, it extracts memory and kills the infected. Nor does the Lich Queen glorify the ascended. She feeds on most all of them to grow her power and pursue godhood.
Madness. You flood me with this heresy. I will hear no more of it. I served Vlaakith the whole of my life. Learned her words, fought her battles, yet she names me her Sharlak. Your words carry truth. I will meet you in Baldur's Gate. Do not make me regret it.
Lae'Zel, I see Talakma Gear in you, sister in freedom. Together we will be our people's light. Take this. It is a Quanith, a psionic detector. The Queen's warriors hunt you. The Quanith will sound you out when you come near their portals. Hear its cry and prepare for battle, or slip away. I should go. Vlaakith's gaze pierces the seas and skies. She believes me loyal, and I can't afford her mistrust. Keep the astral prism close. Let no one take it from you. Slay any who try. Now to Baldur's Gate. I'll be waiting, Lae'Zel.
Bom, toda madrugada é uma aventura. Essa aqui rendeu um troféu, a Ilha da Rainha Elite. E não fizeram um descanso ainda, né? A gente ia descansar e... calma aí, alguém quer falar? Quem? Ah, a Lae'Zel, porque ela tá relacionada com a missão que fez agora, né? Tinha acabado de falar com ela, mas fala mais um pouquinho.
Vlaakith Kosivim Hrath Crashhead. Only in Vlaakith may we find light. These were the first words I ever read on Tirsu's slate. But they are no mere aphorism. They are law. They are creed. The root from which the 10,000 protocols stem. Forsake one protocol, and forsake Vlaakith. Forsake Vlaakith, and be the blood and meat which sates her dragons. If Voss speaks true, if Ascension is a lie, if tadpole purification is a fairy tale, then I have not sinned against Vlaakith. She has sinned against me. Ascension is a young Githyanki's greatest honor. Long ago, the Ghaik enslaved my people. They dominated our minds and bred us for war, until Great Mother Gith took a hammer to our bonds. From the day of our hatching, young Gith have one purpose: to train hard enough to slay a Ghaik and take its head. Then, we speak the rite of Ascension, and a red dragon comes to fly us to Vlaakith, in Tunarath, City of Death. We are honored with an eternal home in the Astral, celebrated for our victory. We are ascended. Or so I believed. Then, when the Kithraki come for me, and come they will, I will submit to their blades. They would feed me to their dragons, and I would deserve no better. I'd never thought Vlaakith a tyrant, or me as a vassal. She was the source of my might, and I the envoy of her will. A warrior, a champion, a destroyer. But if Voss is right, and Vlaakith consumes the Ascended to gain power, then I am no destroyer. I am mere livestock, bred to be harvested and devoured. Every Githyanki is a slave with a singular purpose. Not to cull the Ghaik, not to prevent their grand design, but to raise Vlaakith to true godhood. I don't know. I can't know, and that drives me mad. At first, I thought them an illithid deception, a trick of the tadpole. But the dream figure is real. It lives in the prism. Voss believes they are the seed of Vlaakith's demise and the agent of Githyanki freedom. And I believe he may be right. Yes, I'd like time to think. We'll meet Kithrak Voss at Cheres's Caress in Baldur's Gate. Until then, be vigilant. Vlaakith's eyes are upon us. Mark my words, this power would be no blessing, but a curse. You might as well ask me to gouge out my eyes for the promise of sight, or slice off my tongue for the promise of taste. Consume all the gate tadpoles you wish. I'm not so craven.
Dá pra tentar a pensadão de novo. Não tem muita esperança, mas Ah, até foi, hein? Foi. Vai ver um diálogo novo aí.
Perhaps you... No, that's absurd. When the tadpole has stretched to every pore and slithered through every vein, what am I to do then? It won't hear my screams. It won't care if I beg. I will be remade in its image. My own might will sustain me. I have no need of this depraved power.
Ah, tem que persuadir de novo, então. Ah, um pouco menos difícil. Faz sentido, né? Porque persuadir uma vez já. Ah, mas aí o número não ajudou também.
You're wasting your time and mine. The answer is no.
Bom, agora então conversou com todo mundo, cara, pra conversar. Acho que quando tem exclamação na cabeça deve ser ainda mais necessária a conversa. Alguma surpresa agora nessa deitada? Ou vão finalmente descansar? Ah não, agora tá descansado, mas tem o cachorrinho com uma exclamação, ó. E aí, cachorrinho?
Dog pants through a ball held firmly in his mouth.
Pode adestrar ele, pode brincar. Vamos brincar, velho. Eita, tirou um. Ó, pode tentar várias e várias vezes, eu acho. Vamos ver. Uma hora tem que ir, né? Ah, agora foi.
He relinquishes the ball. It is well chewed and slick with drool.
Ah, pode jogar pra ele, né? Não? Chega a ter segmento a brincadeira ali. Não dá pra... Cadê no... Antes de sair do acampamento? Cadê a bolinha dele? Essa aqui? Ah, ali, ó. Como é? Ah, ele tá ansioso, como é? Joga. Ah, pegou, pô. Isso aí. Inclusive vale um troféu isso aí, tá? Eu jogar a bolinha pra ele. Pronto, bom menino aí. Ainda trouxe um troféuzinho pra gente. Ok, excelente. Agora então sai do acampamento, fica muito tempo ali, mas agora acho que a gente pode retomar a normalidade na medida do possível aqui. Voltar lá pro primeiro mapa, usar o pulo que a gente não sabia usar até poucas horas atrás para explorar outros cantos até então inexplorados. Deixa eu ver aqui só como é que ele vai carregar isso aqui. O 100%, que no fim das contas não é 100%, né? Ah. Tá, eu quero ver ali pro norte, ó. Aqui tem missão. Pra lá. Deve ter bastante coisa explorável ainda. Calma, a gente salva
Home realm intrigues me.
na dificuldade. Volta pro balanceado.
They cannot mature in the astral.
Vamos para o
I will only
norte
be
agora.
welcomed once I obtain a mind flayer's head.
Porque bem ou mal é a primeira área, né? Então não deve ter grandes surpresas aqui. Diferente de onde a gente estava agora, que o pessoal tava mal poderoso e tal. Eu só não sei se no fácil ele meio que só aumenta a nossa vida mesmo. Não sei se chegou a ter alguma outra grande diferença. Salva aí. Botar nosso pulinho em ação, ele...
Tell me,
Ah, área, conseguiu.
what is your interest in the astral plane?
Time. Or rather, the absence of it. In the astral plane, everything is eternal.
It will be my home soon enough. Should lack it.
Vou precisar de item de novo.
My condition likes being ignored as little as I do. I must consume another artifact. And soon. Thank you. Good gods. It hardly has any effect. Oh, Mistra, have mercy on us all. Listen, I need to speak to you, to all of you. It would be unconscionable of me to remain silent. I might just be about to remedy that. You have to know who I was. You have to know who I really am. What I am is a walking shadow of the promise I once held. I'm what one might call a wizard prodigy. And from an early age could not only control the weave, but compose it. Much like a musician or a poet. Such was my skill that it earned me the attention of the mother of magic herself. The Lady of Mysteries. The goddess Mistra. She revealed herself to me and she became my teacher. In time she became my muse. And later even my lover. Oh yes. We enjoyed each other's company. Body, mind, and soul. But even so, I desired more. You see, no matter how powerful a wizard we mortals can become, we never scratch more than the surface of the weave. Mistra keeps us in check. There are boundaries she doesn't let us cross. Yet, every time I was with her, I stood on the precipice, gazing into the wonders that lay beyond. I sought to cross her boundaries. I tried to convince her. I pouted. I pleaded. Swore my ambition was only to serve her better. She only smiled and told me to be contented. But inconceivable as it seems to me now, I shared a bed with a goddess, and yet I wasn't satisfied. So I sought to prove myself worthy to her instead. We come now to the crux of my folly. Shall I share the story behind it, or would you rather head straight to its sordid finale? Very well. Here goes. Once upon a very long time ago, a mighty lord lived in a tower. A flying tower, to be precise. I'll save his history for another time, but the gist of it is that he sought to usurp the goddess of magic so that he could become a god himself. He almost managed, but not quite. And his entire empire, Netheril, came crashing down around him as he turned to stone. The magic that was unleashed that day was phenomenal. Roiling like the prime chaos that outdates creation. Even the weave itself could not withstand the onslaught. It fractured, then shattered, and all magic was lost to the mortal realms, until the day Mistra returned. She restored the weave, reuniting all its scattered shards. Or so I thought. Until, in the course of my studies, I learned of a book. A Netherese tome in which a piece of the fractured weave had been sealed beyond her reach. What if, I thought, what if, after all this time, I could return this lost part of herself to the goddess? The answer was to try. And the outcome was to fail. I was certain that this deed of raw power, draped in romance, would convince Mystra to take me by the hand and welcome me into her hitherto forbidden domains. I was mistaken. I obtained the fabled book and took it into my study. As for what happened next... Here. Place your hand over my heart. Let me show you.
You feel the tadpole quiver as you realize Gale is letting you into the dark. You see through Gale's eyes, staring down the corridors of a dread memory. A book bound and suddenly opened. Inside there are no pages, only a swirling mass of blackest weave that pounces. Its teeth, its claws, it's unstoppable as it digs through and becomes part of you. And gods, is it ever hungry.
What is it? What do you see?
Thankfully, the moment I absorbed the fragment wasn't enough to kill me outright. It was only the beginning. This Netherese blight, this orb, for lack of a better word, is balled up inside my chest. And it needs to be fed. As long as I absorb traces of the weave from potent enough sources, it remains quiet. Were it ever to fully destabilize, however, I will erupt. I don't know the exact magnitude of the eruption, but given my studies of Netherese magic, I'd say even a fragment as small as the one I carry, it'd level a city the size of Waterdeep.
You thrice-damned rotten bastard! You've been the greatest threat to our lives all this time!
I swear to you I wasn't. But I've no choice but to admit I am now. Perhaps it would be best if I leave and put as much distance between us as I can before the orb erupts. We might chance upon a king's collection of magical artifacts around the corner. We might cross paths with a miracle round the bend. Then again, we might not. All of this, it must feel like a betrayal. Say the word, and we'll part ways. That is a great relief. Oh, a great relief indeed. You truly are a soul that steals my own. From all my new rallied heart, I thank you. I thank you all. I understand if you stand against me. I'm humbled if you stand with me. Either way, I will do my best not to let you down. I stand at a precipice, but if you do not give up hope, neither shall I. I'll fight. I'll resist as long as I can. Now, even I am tired of the sound of my own voice. Let us venture forth.
Tipo, agora que eu comecei a gostar do Gale, só faltava ele ir embora agora de todas as horas, né? Por um bom tempo ele foi o membro do grupo que eu menos gostava, agora ele tá sendo mó útil em combate e tal, tá sendo produtivo e vai meter papinho desse? Não, pô. Fica aí com a gente. E falando em ficar aí com a gente tá chegando aí 1 hora de vídeo. Eu vou aproveitar que a gente cruzou a ponte, que tem bastante coisa para se explorar por aqui agora, numa área mais tranquila
You've a
e...
particular way with words, Gale. Perhaps oration suits you more than battle.
They're not mutually exclusive. The weave is served best with a dash of eloquence.
Tá, e agora que eles interagiram ali, que o próximo vídeo seja aí uma retomada, agora que a gente sabe um pouquinho mais sobre o jogo do que a gente sabia anteriormente. Acho que a gente tá melhor estruturado, tem que arrumando essa build direitinho também, né? Mas aos poucos aí, que eu falei, pra quem não sabia nem pular 3 horas atrás, a gente escapou de uma boa, não acho que a gente teria tanta sorte assim no futuro, então que bom que aconteceu melhor mais cedo do que mais tarde. Então pessoal, obrigado aí pela paciência e pela companhia. Agradeço todo mundo que deixar um joinha, um comentário aí motivacional que a gente vai seguindo aí na campanha. Obrigadão pela audiência de vocês, aquele abraço e até a próxima.